Welcome back, guys, to the Beyond Condition podcast, the voice of bodybuilding. And we are here for a conversation I had. And this one was actually with a very good friend of mine, my videographer, Matt. I have checked with him before creating this episode that he'd be okay for me to share essentially what we're going to talk about today, because it is a subject that I feel is going to resonate a lot with many, many people, but it's important for me to, of course, check that it's okay to share the insight that he gave me in regards to communicating essentially his ADHD. And I've sat with a lot of thoughts since the conversation. It was actually quite a few months ago. And I really do feel like there's something within what he was telling me with being able to express how you feel, to essentially be as authentic to yourself as possible without the shame or guilt that could be associated with feeling like you are different. And that in itself can be something that anyone can face. That even ties into being a bodybuilder, right? We are different to general population, as it were. And during this conversation, we were talking about his ADHD and some of the things that he's working on. And he actually listened to an audiobook that I can actually link in the description of this episode. I think that would be a good thing to do. And he listened to the audiobook and he said, "Do you know, Sarah, I said to my girlfriend, can you listen to this too? Because I feel like it will help you understand me more." And I was like, whoa, that's powerful. It really, really is. So not only is he trying to understand his ADHD more himself, but he's bringing his partner on board, his closest person in his life, and he's attempting to bridge a gap that could easily be there because I feel like the spectrum of neurodiversity is very large, and I'd imagine plenty of people in the world could appear on that spectrum. So whether it's ADHD, autism, you feeling different to other people, trying to understand that within yourself, that truly is a thing. But then when we are on this spectrum, when we're on this road to understanding ourselves more, could that isolate you from people around you and even send you into your own mind more with trying to explore something that maybe you don't even understand yourself fully? Now, Matt also shared that having an ADHD therapist to help him has really helped him unpack how he behaves, how he thinks, how he feels, and what to do about that. So that's also an extension of if that's something that could help you. And essentially, I would say that would bring clarity, you know. And with all of this, guys, what I'll say is being seen, being heard holds a fuck ton of weight. Because even when Matt was talking about this audiobook, I could see he felt seen, he felt heard, and in turn, he had tools and understanding into himself more. And I believe with the spectrum, as it were, that that in itself could be quite overwhelming because you might actually listen to something that doesn't resonate fully with you, and you could listen to something else and that resonates more. But one thing, and this is what I always say about something like a podcast or a therapist, if that first route of seeking support does not work, I try to empower you guys and anyone I speak to not give up on seeking that support and guidance because it could be out there, it could be very close, and you're in that position to go, it is time to gain some help, to gain some clarity. And even that instance in itself where he said to his partner, I feel like if you listen to this audiobook, it would help you understand me. He also spoke about some of the things that she does and how he wants to understand her more. So you can see this communication between a partnership, how valuable that would be, right? Because if you're listening, and this is friendships as well, guys, if you're listening and you're either end of this. So if you have ADHD, autism, any neurodivergency, or suspected, right? It may not be diagnosed. Being able to communicate that more, that could really change the game for your relationships. But we're going to need someone on the other end of that to be receptive of your communications. And I feel like part of this, bridging the gap, is that perhaps you don't want to put this on anyone else. Perhaps you're fighting to deal with this yourself. Perhaps you're thinking maybe people don't care. Maybe that you could try and it's going to fall on deaf ears. Maybe you feel like I'm not like other people. I want to isolate myself more. I don't want to talk about how I think and feel. That there's something wrong with me. Like any of these things that could go through your mind, and I'm not assuming here, but I know that this can be the case. But also, when you suggest things like this to someone in a relationship with yourself, friendship or intimate, it's potentially looking at how you frame that and how we're able to then gain that understanding from someone that we love, that we care about, to help bridge that gap. And what I would say, guys, is that when we look at anything that potentially could require a diagnosis, if you feel that you're different to other people, if you feel that perhaps you look up something like ADHD and you think I align with multiple symptoms here, as it were, multiple effects of ADHD. What do I do now? It could be that actually going down that route helps you gain clarity, and in turn, you're able to then bring more people on board. Now, what I would also say, guys, is that the world is not always kind to us. The world can be very cruel. And if people are pushing back, if you are expressing that you'd like to communicate how you feel more, that you are looking to offer tools like an audiobook that really resonates with you. If people are pushing back, if people are, saying anything derogatory towards you, anything that is bringing detriment to you, placing negativity on something that is you, that's not okay. It's really not okay. Because if someone is not inside your head, they don't go through the way you think and feel every day. And if this is met with a pushback, this could make you feel shame. It could make you feel guilt. It could make you feel more isolated. And if the people you're trying to communicate with, if that's an intimate relationship, if that's family, if that's friends, I believe they should see this as your superpower. They should see that you are a unique individual. And if they give the opportunity to explore this with you, let me tell you guys, I know people that have ADHD, that have autism, and they are incredible human beings. I love being able to understand different brains, different people. And it's on me if I'm going to be friends with someone, if I'm going to coach someone, if I'm going to speak with anyone. It's on me to try and understand and learn more about that person and level up my understanding and to be able to appropriately read the room. Now, what I understand from a receiver end of this discussion that we're having today is that it might be quite hard for someone to feel like they have the emotional intelligence to level up with you, to be able to operate or come close to operating on your frequency. Because being neurodivergent can often mean that you read the room more, that you pick up energies in a different way. I know with ADHD as an example, you can almost finish someone's sentence because you already know what they're going to say. It's like a sixth sense. This is where I say a superpower. And maybe we could take it back to, from a receiver end of this, perhaps that person who you're trying to communicate with, maybe it's, a touch overwhelming for them. Maybe they feel lesser because you are operating on a higher frequency. Could we look at it like that? And you can see how, this discussion with Matt, has extended into, wow, how can I deliver this podcast when it came to my mind to share this? But how can I also support all of the people I've outlined there more so by being someone that is a support in their life, by being someone that can see them. And one thing I would say, guys, is anything we're trying to communicate with someone else, even in an example of bodybuilding, say a prep, right? You know that it's not always easy to communicate this. And I actually did an episode on communicating your prep with people around you, and I'll drop the link of that in this episode as well. But even that in an example, maybe our expectations of communicating anything, so how we think, how we feel, our choices in life, maybe sometimes we need to think of an entry level, and this is why the audiobook example with Matt is a very good idea, or the podcast I've just mentioned, finding that entry level so then we get a baseline of understanding. Now, what that does, I would say, in your mind is go, okay, this person wants to understand me more. This person's meeting me here, and together, perhaps we are gonna be able to essentially understand one another more because you're already seeing that someone is receptive to an idea you've had to communicate how you think and feel. How good will that feel? Because this person that you care about, that you love, is making an effort to do that. And it's also gonna, I would say, make you feel good that you've been able to suggest this and that person is receptive. So that's almost like an entry level or first phase to can we level up together to level one, right? And then how do we look to evolve that? How do we look to explain more, to communicate more? And with this base level understanding, what I believe is that your partner listening to you or your friend listening to you about how you think and feel. So, in this example with ADHD, it could be that you are almost too close for them to be able to listen fully, understand fully without it causing maybe conflict or overwhelm or any of these things. If someone can go away and read a book or listen to an audiobook or listen to a podcast about something that has resonated with how you think and feel, it gives them time to do this, to process it, to live in your shoes for that time. Then we can come back, come together, talk about it, process it, and have conversations that are potentially are more neutral. Because depending on where you're at, this could be quite an emotive journey for you. You're trying to express how you feel, and maybe at times, guys, your brain is feeling pretty scrambled and you don't really know. So trying to then express that to someone else can be pretty tricky, right? And this covers a lot of different, mental health considerations as well. How do we explain how we feel? And I really do hope that, thinking about it in this way could potentially help anyone listening. Or what I do want to say is, guys, if you've got a friend or it's your partner, perhaps, anyone that you think could potentially benefit from you showing a little bit more encouragement to understanding them more, I urge you to do that. I urge you to think about how it could feel when you don't feel understood, when you don't feel seen, when you're walking this road alone, this long path of trying to understand yourself more, whether it's before diagnosis or whether you've been diagnosed with ADHD, autism. Imagine how that might feel to not really know what that, potentially means for your future. Could that make you feel different in a negative way? And if you are someone that knows someone that could do with being seen a bit more, guys, you have that gift in your hands to give to them. You have an opportunity today, right now, as you're listening, to do more, to be better for somebody else. And that's important because imagine feeling so scrambled in your head, not knowing what to do with the thoughts and feelings you have, the behaviors that you get into. There's, and this is going to be relating to the spectrum, there's a whole realm of different ways that this could affect you. Imagine that, the chaos in the head, and trying your best to have relationships, to do the things as a bodybuilder, as a person. And I encourage you to think about what I said, that this is a superpower. It is. Everyone has unique things within them, the way we behave, the way we think, the way we feel. And I'll summarize here a conversation I had with my chiropractor physio guy. He said about self-awareness is enabling you to accept who you are and being able to go, okay, this is who I am, and projecting that internally and externally, feeling proud of who you are. Being self-conscious is attaching shame or guilt to who you are, how you act, think, and feel. And we have potentially a path, a road ahead to becoming more self-aware. But I encourage you to think about this, guys, because you are you. You are you, and shame or guilt attached to anything that we do is going to be detrimental to ourselves. And that's going to hold us back from being our true, authentic self. And you know me, guys, weird, wonderful, all of the things that I encourage you to be, that I encourage you to go within and find who you are and be able to project that into the world. And for those that don't come along for the ride of life with you, it's them that's missing out, not you. And by thinking about that first step there, the stage to helping someone close to you understand you more, I really do hope that that potentially could amplify your relationships. And if you are on the receiving end of this, remember you've got a power to help somebody feel seen.